Good morning, everyone. Let's join in singing together as we begin our service. Dear Weaver of our lives' design. Please be seated, everyone. Good morning. Welcome here to First Unitarian Church. I see we've got some special visitors today, including a jellyfish on the chancel. Welcome to First Unitarian congregants here in this sanctuary and everyone joining us online today. We're a multi-generational community that strives to nurture the individual spirit and work together towards justice and work together for a fair world. Everyone is invited after the service to a Halloween party in our Buchanan reception following the service. Food, face painting, crafts, projects, a DJ, and more will be there. Sticker awards for everyone in costume today. More announcements later, but once again, welcome. Let's greet one another now as we begin our service here in person and online.
Who is excited to have Steve Harvey and the Lorax light our chalice this morning? Kylie and Keela, I would know you anywhere. But actually, I don't know, you fooled me today. We're excited to have two famous people help us light the chalice this morning. Let us share our unison affirmation together. We are Unitarian Universalists. We light this chalice in faith, in hope, and in love. Thank you very much. I feel that way. There was extra clapping in case you couldn't hear that online. So let us open our worship time together by sharing one of the oldest covenants that I like to share by James Philip Blake. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And now we are going to teach a song. Let me just grab my mug of water for a second. Our choir had their retreat yesterday, our 80 strong member choir, and they are actually singing at, I feel like because a phone is ringing, they feel called to sing at Oregon City, who hosted their retreat yesterday. And so we're sharing a little bit of mission. We're sharing our music with our sibling congregation in Oregon City this morning, which means I'm going to share music with you. And I'm excited because today we're kicking off our annual fund drive. And when I was growing up, we always sang Magic Penny by Malvina Reynolds. How many people know that song? And oh, I can see the hands online as well. So I want you to help me sing, because for you, I'm going to be singing just a solo. So please make it a duet and sing along with me, and let us all sing together. And for all the children of all ages, this song is about how when we give away, when we give away love in all of its forms, when we give away our dollars, but when we give away our time, when we give away our courage, when we give our creativity, we might do art out in the world, we might be teachers out in the world. When we give love, it is like a magic penny, and it multiplies. And I hope that parents and guardians and grandparents will have a conversation with their children when they get home about this phenomenal way that love always multiplies. And it's such an important quality about it. So let's sing together a song that is about that very thing. And we're delighted to have Signe, by the way, who's the main music for today. Be our guest, every Sunday you're the best. So let us sing together, and Signe's going to kick us off, and you join in as soon as you feel like you've got it. Love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Oh, it's just like a magic penny. Hold it tight and you won't have any. Lend it, spend it, and you'll have so many. They'll roll all over the floor. For love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Money's dandy and we like to use it, and love is better if you don't refuse it. It's a treasure and you'll never lose it. But to lock up your door, for love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. Thank you. Now, Malvina Reynolds was a Unitarian Universalist, so it's fun to share that vision of love at the center of our lives that has been a part of our movement for many decades now. And I'm excited to invite Leah up. Reverend Leah is going to tell you about how we have a way to give some love away and make it multiply.
Good morning. We are going to do a reverse offering. So a regular or a traditional offering is the time in the service when we recognize that church happens because we contribute financially. It's how the lights stay on, it's how staff gets paid, and most importantly, it's how RE classes can afford snacks. Today, we're going to do a reverse offering for the kids and the youth here. And that is when the church offers something back. So we're kicking off our generosity season by giving each child and youth here the magical and transformative gift of one magic penny. Just like we sang about, so that you can have the joy of giving it away. Can you imagine the possibilities, a whole penny? One little penny doesn't seem like very much. It is 2025 after all. I'm not sure that 1 cent on its own will make that much magic. Maybe we should bump the amount up just a little more. So I have a question for our children and youth. If we were to give each of you, say, $5, not to spend on yourself, but to use to make some kind of magic in the world, do you think you could do that? I see lots of nods. Wave at me if you think yes. Okay. Okay, I think a plan is forming. $5 it is. Since so many people, many of whom are in this room and online right now, gave generously last year and for years going back, we can give each young person a $5 bill this morning. So here's the fine print. If you take it, you're making 2 promises. One is to make the magic of love with this money by using it to spread generosity and kindness, whatever that means to you. And the other promise is to tell us about what you choose to do and why and how it felt. So you can stay tuned about how to do that second part, but we do ask for a story in return for this $5 bill. I would also like to suggest that you consider hitting up a grown-up in your life to match your $5. So I'm going to give you $5, and you can see if they will kick in another $5, and that would enable you to make magic with $10. And if you don't have anyone to ask, try my coworker, Jen Thomas. She gave me permission to say that. So in a moment, all of the children and youth, even if it's your first time here, are going to be invited to come forward. I'll be right down here, and receive your magic penny, which is actually $5. Please give it to your grown-up right away to hold it while you're in RE, and then they'll return it to you later. So while all of this happens, we're going to sing our hymn of blessing. The young people can come forward to receive their magic money, and then you can meet all of the RE leaders and any new families in the lobby on our way to religious education. So come forward now.
This may be the most popular time for all ages ever. I invite you to rise as you're willing and able and to join me in the following responsive reading, which is about our shared work together, Honoring Church by Alice Nasaman. Let us take a moment to honor the ancestors of this church, the people who first came together to create a home for liberal religion here in Portland, who worked to raise money for a building, who sat in committee meetings and created bylaws, who chopped and marinated and baked for potlucks, who painted and weeded and pounded nails and washed countless dishes, who gathered to worship, to learn, to grieve, to heal, to serve, to build justice, to transform lives and this world. We are the recipients of an incredible gift and a beautiful vision. Let us do our part to keep this congregation strong, vital, and thriving for generations to come. May it be so, and you may be seated. So today we are kicking off our season of giving and the 2026 campaign, Weaving Threads of Generosity. If you have given in the past, you will be receiving a personalized pledge packet in the mail this week, and we hope that you will review these important pieces before making a decision about your financial gift for 2026. Just curious, has anyone received it yet? Did it come early anywhere? Not yet. Okay, good. So this week, look for it in the mail. I didn't want it to have been lost yesterday. And if you are new, welcome. Consider this a chance to learn about how pledging works here. And there's no pressure to give at this point. And whenever you are ready, we would love to have your support if you continue your journey with us. It is during this time that we ask our members and friends to make a pledge, a promise of financial support for the coming calendar year. These gifts fund the church's ministries, Sunday services, staff, education efforts, social justice action, pizza at the Halloween party after this, which some of you may partake in, and more. And can I ask the AV folks that we put our sustainer slide up? Thank you. Some of you choose to be sustainers, and you have signed up with a pledge and asked that it continue year after year. When we can count on your pledge in this way, we are able to proactively make plans and commitments, including the ability to pay our staff equitable wages and to care for this historic property and to engage in ministries beyond our walls. And as you can see, it's because of these stable givers that we are launching our campaign at 54% of our $1.475 million goal. Incredible, incredible. What a privilege to be able to start at over half of our goal, because some of you have such a demonstrated commitment that you have said, you can count on me year after year. If you aren't currently a sustainer, we hope that you'll consider making this meaningful commitment to let us know that you would like to join that crew. What we are asking this year is that folks consider your ability to increase your pledge. And our hope is that some of you may be able to increase your pledge by as much as 10% or even 25%. A lot of that depends on where you're beginning this year. It's a big ask, but one of the things we're facing is a sudden loss of our rental income almost half of our rental income from two of our renters had to be reduced, and we learned that this summer. And so it's a big gap that we're trying to fill, and so we would love your support if possible. And we also want to honor that there are folks that won't be able to make an increase this year, and some that actually may need to reduce their pledge. Because we are fortunate enough to be an economically diverse congregation, we hope that as circumstances allow, some people will be able to give more, and we honor that some may not. And do know that every single gift matters. Every single gift adds up to what we are able to do and offer one another in the world. And we are so blessed to have people in this congregation who do give so generously of their time and talent, of their faith and funding, as I shared in the blurb for this sermon. And if you are going through a financial hardship, please communicate with me or with Tom. We want you to know, first of all, that we have a care fund for when people are in a time of extraordinary need. And sometimes when something happens in our lives, that's our chance collectively to be generous with you. There is no dollar amount required to be a member of this congregation or a friend of this congregation. It's about generosity. So will you join me in thanking one another, and will you pledge once again that each of us will do our part that this congregation might thrive? I'm going to put one person on the spot. Tom, will you? Yes. Absolutely. As will I. And we'll get to others soon enough. But we are here with you. And together, we are creating a vibrant, passionate, justice-seeking church, a tapestry of love and hope. Thank you for all you do give. It makes a big difference. And continuing with that, I will turn it over to Tom to share some of the church happenings.
I want to add my thanks to all that you give and all that you do to make this congregation what it is. Let's see. We're going to have a social hour after the service today. That'll be downstairs in Fuller Hall, immediately below this sanctuary. And as you heard earlier, there's a Halloween gathering next door in our Buchanan building. If you are new among us today, I'd like to invite you to a welcome circle. To my left, you'll see a big sign over here. We'd love to get to know you and to hear about what brought you here to the church. And as we talk about money today, know that there's no pressure, as Allison said earlier, for you to pledge. We're just really glad you're here, and we want to welcome you. So join us in the welcome circle following the service. And a note about next Sunday. After the service, Reverend Allison and members of our Board of Trustees will offer a quarterly Q&A on the life of the church. This will include a budget update, among other things. This is a chance to learn kind of the current state of the church and what's happening, and a chance for you to ask questions. So that's next Sunday after the service. And now it's time for our offering. Part of the way that we express our generosity in this congregation is that when we take an offering each week, we share that offering with an organization in concert with our own church mission. If you were here last week, you know that we raised money for the Unitarian Universalists for Social Justice, UUSJ. UUSJ works to make our government fair by advancing equitable national policies and actions aligned with UU values through engagement, education, and advocacy. Last week, we had the privilege of hearing from Pablo de Jesus, their executive director. It was a great privilege, and we're sharing our offering again this week with UUSJ. If you'd like to give and you're here in person, our ushers will come through momentarily. You can also turn to the green card in the seats. That'll have a QR code. And if you're watching us online, shortly you'll see a QR code to follow, or you can use the Donate Now button if you're on Boxcast. Once again, thank you for your generosity that sustains this congregation. Blessings. We make space every Sunday for the concerns of our community life together. A reminder that you can write down a prayer intention to be held by our ministers and our lay ministers in one of our side galleries. You can light a candle of intention. And if you'd like, or you can send an intention to prayer at firstunitarianportland.org. A reminder that next Sunday will be our annual All Souls service when we name those in our congregation and their close family members who have died in the last year. If your loved one has been named here in Parish Concerns, we should already have that name. If you'd like to add your loved one's name, you can send that to remembrance at firstunitarianportland.org, and there's a link in this past week's Front Steps newsletter as well. I have a number of concerns to bring you this morning. Member Emily Daniel died on October 4th at the age of 73 of pancreatic cancer. Emily joined our church in 2015. Throughout her life, Emily worked for justice in a number of contexts. Her family says her life was one marked by a spirit of adventure and passion for helping others, that she cultivated the virtues of kindness, connection, and community. She leaves her partner Bruce, her son Pete, and daughter Kate, and they plan a memorial service later next spring. Member Jean Robinson died on October 10th at the age of 90. Jean was a member of our congregation since 2004 and in recent years mostly watched online. Jean, in her professional life, was a teacher at Vernon Grade School and Jefferson High School, and a memorial service is tentatively planned for Jean on January the 10th at 11 o'clock in our Elliott Chapel. Member Sharon Slatore died on October 17th after suffering a heart attack. She became part of our congregation after moving to Portland from Salt Lake City in 2019, and she was part of our Sojourners group. A fellow Sojourners said of her, she was generous, well-read, and intellectually curious with a somewhat quirky sense of humor. We remember all those who have gone this month. Will you join me now in a moment of prayer? Spirit of life and of love, God of many names and no name, hear our prayers this day, those we speak, those we hold in the silence of our hearts. May we begin in gratitude, Spirit, for our lives, for brilliant fall colors, for rain that nourishes our thirsty earth, for this community that calls us together, for all the blessings in our lives. In these times, Spirit, hold us in our fears, hold us in our hopes, hold us that we find courage to meet the call of these times, to do our part to build the common good, to bear witness to all the beauty and all the brokenness too. Remind us that what touches any one of us impacts us all, that we might see what we have in common and not so much what divides us. And we give thanks for this community that brings us together once again this morning, for those who from one generation to the next have built this congregation. May we do our part to sustain this place that draws us here together. Help us, Spirit, to remember that we need one another. Help us, Spirit, as we strive to make this so. Amen. Let's be together now for a few moments of silence. I invite you now to rise in body and in spirit as we sing our doxology, Spirit of Life. Our reading today is by Martin Foster, Interdependence. Like the full moon and a reflecting surface on a still lake, like the wind and the windmill, the sun to the sunrise or sunset, the water to the river, the earth to the mountain, the soil to the vegetation. Interdependence, the inseparable binding of two things together for all eternity, relying upon each other for strength and support, for love and care, woven together with the silk and thread of the cosmos. Interdependence of parent and child, of lover and loved, of healer and healed, of skies and stars, of people and community, of heart and compassion. The beginning comes full circle at the end, the cries of birth, the tears of grief one cannot live without, like a body without a mind, a spirit without a soul, a moment without an experience. Interdependence.
Everyone is worthy. Everyone is connected to everyone else. Everyone can make a difference. These three simple statements sum up how we aspire to live out our days together in this community. Everyone is worthy. That's a summary of our first principle in which we covenant to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. It is shorthand for our value of equity that we share with Unitarian Universalists across the country. We declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. This translates into the shared promise to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. Week after week, we come here to be both challenged and inspired, not only to say everyone is worthy, but to gain the compassion, courage, and creativity to make this visible in the world. What exactly is being asked of us? First, we are asked to recognize that all of us, you and you and you and you and you and you in particular, have, and you, and you, have inestimable significance. And this was the case from the moment you drew your first breath. We assert this theologically by rejecting the notion that children are born marred by some original transgression in the garden long ago. When we look in the faces of our infants and the faces of our visitors, yes, you, not yet fully known to us, we intuit that you have the ability to connect, care, and love that all of us do in our own particular, peculiar, and positive ways. We know that their presence among us will open us to new and fresh insights about the unfolding and changing possibilities in our families, in this community, and in the world. The challenge of this statement is that it can require a leap of faith to greet every person as worthy and sacred. Like right now, someone might be upset by the sound of a child crying, but just remember, that is a reflection of our own tears. And child, if you can hear me, you are welcome here, and so are your tears. In a community where we affirm the worth of everyone, there is a degree to which we make ourselves vulnerable to those who might act in harmful ways to themselves or others, and we also open ourselves to the possibility that in our encounters, we will receive fragments of the holy through our relationships. It is equally true that our experiences of terrifying harm and sometimes the most overwhelming joyous healing comes at the hands of our fellow human beings. One reason we have launched a new Right Relations Task Force for our community this fall is to recognize that while we proclaim loudly that all are worthy and welcome, not all behaviors and manifestations of that are worthwhile, and there are words and actions that are not welcome here. The Right Relations Task Force is there to work with us and for us to help guide us towards restoration when harm has happened, and to help all of us learn how to tend the boundaries that love provides. Part of our worth as a human being is manifested in our ability to grow more loving, just, and wise in our actions. Everybody is sacred. Let me say that again with a slightly different inflection. Every body is sacred. Both we and the world beyond need this message repeated and needs people who learn how to live it out in word and deed. Immigrants are sacred and immigrant bodies are sacred. Trans kin are sacred and trans bodies are sacred. Black lives are sacred and Black bodies are sacred. For the people in the back, Black trans immigrant lives are sacred and Black trans immigrant bodies are sacred. And also, let me add, fat beloveds are sacred and fat bodies are sacred. And you, who I did not name, are sacred and your body is sacred. All of you are worthy of love and a place in our community and our country, and you belong here. Period. Full stop. It's important to name the groups that are being targeted, which is why I singled some of you out. And because they are so comprehensive in their othering and targeting, I know I missed some. The assaults occurring, spiritual, psychological, physical, are meant to separate us. And some of you have endured unbearable amounts of slings and arrows of late, especially the words and the actions and the death-dealing policies being promoted by our government at this time. But we are inseparable, interwoven. All of us, every one of us, is connected to everyone else, and we have been saying this for hundreds of years. Listen, we are all capable of missing the mark of love. Sin can be defined as that which separates us from what is sacred and holy. And I find this definition useful. While I believe in no such thing as original sin, all of us may find we have acted in ways that separate us from all that is sacred. We may have acted in ways that do not manifest the inherent spark of the divine in another or even in ourselves. Have I always acted with love at the center, with Mother Earth at the center, with a faithfulness to the worth of every single person? No. Like all of us, I'm human. I make mistakes. And I think it's important to say this out loud, lest we separate ourselves entirely from the people that we are struggling with and against. This intersectional vision that everybody and every body is sacred, including that of Mother Earth, takes work, and it is a labor of love. We must engage our work with humility, that in each of us resides the same tendency to other, to separate. However, we must engage this labor with a fierce faithfulness to our message. We are worthy and wonderfully woven together, and none shall separate us in the face of the onslaught. We must also engage with the fullness of our lives and the hopeful practice of moving forward together on the path of building the beloved community, that golden road brick by brick. Now, some might say, how do we, as Unitarian Universalists, dare proclaim that all people are worthy when some are deporting, kidnapping, starving, shooting, holding hostages, denying health care, dehumanizing others? The answer lies in our recognition that it was not fated to go to that dismal place. The person withholding food or denying health care had and continues to have the ability and the responsibility to create change. And if they cannot find a way to change their behavior, then members of our society, we, the people, have the possibility of offering a solution that denies neither the humanity of the people they are dehumanizing nor their humanity. Extreme situations arise on both sides of the human spectrum. There are also many who have lived in a way that manage to unite them with people all around the globe. The Reverend Dr. King comes to mind, and his nonviolent movement for liberation, which still goes on in places, including currently in the form of the Poor People's Campaign. And I lift him up because he is being attacked, his legacy at this moment. And he did not unify people because he was perfect, and is pathetic and pathos to see Trump so threatened by King's unifying vision and action that he is trying to tear him down by publishing his flaws. No, King is inspirational in part because although he was flawed, he showed that all of us are capable of a movement of resistance and a movement towards liberating love that I think is called divine. It is the extremes which remind us of the spectrum of our nature and the possibilities that our combination of skills, perceptions, creativity, and passions might lead the world around us to unfold in gestures larger than any one of us could dream up. We are ultimately interwoven by our deeds with all who reside in this space with us and around the globe everywhere. Just think how the eyes of the world are on Portland right now. And we are working to surround the most vulnerable in our community with a fierce and faithful love. And we have met our foe with that same fierce and faithful and sometimes funny love. As I told the reporter in the Atlantic and the Oregonian, as I told the city council in testimony recently, we are showing up for and with our immigrant neighbors and accompanying them to appointments at the ICE facilities. We are showing up in our neighborhoods and reporting when ICE is kidnapping community members in the middle of a block. And we are showing up in the streets with our clergy collars, with no clothes, as inflated frogs, unicorns, and clowns, showing the world that we either move forward together or croak alone. Showing the world that Portland is creative, quirky, compassionate, and courageous, and we will not be separated. We will proclaim we are all worthy, all woven, and all capable of wondrous acts of love. Every one of us can make a difference. And the reality is that powerful human beings are also creating chaos and raining havoc on people's lives in this not yet the beloved community we dream about. We have lost some of our neighbors in this city to the detention center in Tacoma, and some have been deported. This means we have more work to do. That's why it is good that our collection today is going to use for social justice, and which is our UU voice in our nation's capital, and that next month we're going to resume with a collection split with the interfaith movements and immigrant justice. And it's good that we are kicking off the opportunity that all of us have to raise money for this church and to support our community, a community that helps each of us to grow towards love and to make a difference in one another's lives and beyond. One tiny glimpse from within these walls, and our work this week. I had the chance to participate in a drag show in this sanctuary on this chancel on Friday with middle schoolers and high schoolers who had asked me to bring a word about a religious perspective that affirms and celebrates our LGBTQ+ community. We shared such joy as teens saw reflected back to them that we celebrate all of who they are, all of their bodies, and that we will defend their right to exist. And this is what I said, one of the things I said. We do not welcome kings in this sanctuary. Only drag kings and queens are welcome here. On that very same day, we celebrated together, you and I, the life of Judy Wilder, one of our beloveds who recently passed, with her family and members of Community for Earth and the Alliance and so many others. You know, Judy was one of the first 3 juvenile counselors in the state of Oklahoma who believed so fiercely and faithfully in the youth she guided after incarceration, and her love for them and theirs for her was transformative. And right now, we have volunteers in Buchanan mentoring our own children and being mentored by them, all of them instilling in each other a sense of their worth, and when they fall short, learning how to repair and do better. And right now, our choir is sharing our light of song with Oregon City, and right now, you and I are showing up in this room and online to fortify ourselves and our faith in order to be able to do a better and better job of making love visible in the world. I'll mention one final challenge that some may have to believing in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Sometimes we don't believe in this because we don't believe in ourselves or our gifts. We may wrestle with our imperfections and struggle to find evidence that we are loved or lovable, that our gifts could possibly change the lives of others. Maybe some of us have a voice in our head of someone who diminished us and told us we were not worthy. When we feel that way, when we hear that voice, ours or another's, come here and show up and know that your gift is wanted and matters. No, I'm not a fine artist like my spouse is. I cannot take a piece of yarn and weave something like this, but put a pen in my hand and I can counter the sword. Each of us has gifts that the world needs. Each of us is holy, precious, and divine. And if we deny the gifts that we have, this leads us to separate ourselves from the fragments of holiness we do possess and the gifts of connection that are ours to offer the world. And I hear this in so many congregants' stories. I shared Judy's just before, but there are so many others. One more time, our full statement of equity. We declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. And First Unitarian Portland has been doing this for 160 years now because people like you have shared of their time and talents, their funding and faithfulness to co-create one place in our city and in our lives where we affirm that everyone is worthy and get to practice this tenet over and over again each time we walk through these doors, each time we show up online together, greeting the stranger, opening our hearts to new people, new perspectives, new skills that become life-changing stories. I truly believe that if more people belonged to communities like this one, we would see increasingly fewer acts of greed, destruction, and division. Not because we're perfect, we know we are flawed, but because we are called by a universalist, unifying vision. Our destinies are intertwined, and we are a people who are heaven-bent, which means building the beloved community where all have a seat at the table, where none go hungry, and all come ready to grow and learn and love. Everyone is worthy, interwoven, and capable of wondrous acts of courage, quirkiness, creativity, and compassion. And that, in the end, makes all the difference. Amen. I love you, and may it be so. pizza and Halloween party and fun costumes following the service. Don't forget our community timeline that's up there. There are Post-its and markers, and it's looking fuller, I will say, in the last 15 years than the prior 15 years, and some of you might know some of that history, so add it. Speaking of which, I also want you to know that next all fall, we are celebrating our story, including Tom's story with us for these last 30 years. And following the service next week, we will be sharing blessings about the 30 years of Tom being with us. So don't forget to plan to stay next week. And now the board is like, and then tell them to go to the meeting. Okay, then go to the meeting. But today, enjoy the costumes, enjoy the party. Newcomers, enjoy the welcome circle, because part of resistance is joy. And now, in our going, may the light of love bless us and keep us. May it shine down upon us. May it radiate out from within us. May it make all of us peace builders, community builders, and outshiners of all hatred. For this is the day that you and I are given. So let us rejoice in it and be glad. Go in peace, practice love. Amen.